Okay, after almost 1 week of posting videos about my first impression of Starlight Billy, I think now is the right time for me to give my final impression. Or you could also say my conclusion about this character. So in this video, of course, we're going to talk about everything related to Starlight Billy, starting from mechanics, build, teammates, strategy, and whether you should pull him in version 2.8 or not. I'm pretty sure those of you watching this video have also already tried Starlight Billy on your accounts. So without making too long, as usual, I'm Hoyostation and let's do this. Okay, first of all, let's start by discussing Starlight Billy's mechanics. One basic thing you will feel the first time you use this character is that his mechanics are somewhat similar to Yidari, who plays around HP consumption, meaning your HP will constantly go up and down during battle. Although in my opinion, it's not that extreme. But if you just started trying this character, it's pretty normal if you feel nervous about getting KO'd while fighting enemies. But don't worry, overall Starlight Billy is a fairly self-sufficient character. Even though he has a kit that consumes HP, he also has a skill that can restore his own HP without help from teammates. So you could say he feels really comfortable to use if you don't have a healer character on your account yet. During my experience using this character for 1 week, I can say that using Starlight Billy is actually pretty simple and not complicated at all, like some characters in this game whose moves are all over the place, to the point where we end up confused about which skill to use. So for those of you who struggle with memorizing character movements, you probably won't have difficulty memorizing Starlight Billy's gameplay. Before we discuss the commonly used skills, I want to briefly explain the unique bar called Determination first. Just like other unique characters in Zenless Zone Zero, Starlight Billy also has a unique bar called Determination. This bar shows special energy that we will use to activate our strongest skill, Basic Attack Full Throttle Starlight. Getting it is easy, we only need to attack enemies to gain this energy, whether by using normal attacks, EX special attacks, or chain attacks. Oh yeah, Determination also increases on its own, although very slowly. Okay, now let's go back to discussing the skills. Basically, to use Starlight Billy, you only need to remember a few skills, such as Special Attack Drive Suppression. To activate it, you simply press Special Attack, and he will crash his motorcycle into enemies. This skill is basically the type of skill that you need to activate regularly all the time. Why? Because the effect of this special attack is to activate the buff effect from his core passive, which provides an extremely high increase to critical damage. So you could say that if you don't use this skill, your damage output won't be maximized. So you need to keep using it constantly. Now what's cool about this skill, guys, is that we can use it to block enemy attacks. So when enemies attack and we use this special attack, their attack can be parried, and we will launch an even stronger attack called EX Special Attack Cool Wheelie. Even though the combo from this special attack doesn't use energy at all, meaning we can spam it continuously, you still have to remember that this special attack will continuously drain your HP. So don't use it too often or you will end up struggling yourself. For the second skill you need to remember, there's EX Special Attack High Traction Wheels. Why do you need to remember this skill? Because this skill can restore a huge amount of HP without relying on other characters, which means this skill can become the balance for the previous special attack that drains HP. And in my opinion, activating it is really easy too. You just hold the special attack button while you have energy. On top of that, the damage from this EX special attack is incredibly high, reaching almost 2000%, which makes it one of our main damage skills. The one you will use the most and also Starlight Billy's strongest skill, there's Basic Attack Full Throttle Starlight. You can only use this once your determination bar reaches at least 100 points. This skill attacks enemies while riding a motorcycle and deals damage through the exhaust, which honestly hits extremely hard. After talking about Starlight Billy's mechanics, now let's talk about this character's build. Honestly, for some reason, unlike most characters, I think this character is actually pretty easy to build. When it comes to W engines, of course his signature W engine is unmatched, because this W engine has all the stats that Starlight Billy really needs, such as increased critical rate and also physical shear damage. But if you don't pull this signature W engine, you can also use X2N's W engine, which more or less gives similar effects, the only difference being the physical shear damage. Based on the data I got, the difference between these two W engines is around 14% damage output. So even though the gap is a little noticeable, it's still usable. In my opinion, Starlight Billy's W engine options are also pretty friendly for free-to-play players or new players, because I've seen several W engines that are still decent to use, such as Grill a Wisp or Radio Wave Journey. Actually, Puzzle Sphere can also work, but unfortunately, this W engine gives attack, while Rapture characters don't need attack to deal damage output. Unlike Promea, who actually needs the new disk drive released in version 2.8 called Notes from the Chained, Starlight Billy only needs older disk drive like Unique Tales or Branch and Blade Song, which should already be piled up in your inventory if you've been playing this game for a long time. On top of that, because I feel that Starlight Billy's core mechanics are similar to other characters like X2N for example, you can also swap disk drives with other characters if you don't have suitable disk drives. So basically you don't need to farm again specifically for Starlight Billy. The main stats and substats you are looking for are also very similar to X2N's, namely HP, critical rate, and also critical damage. And for the main stats of disc 4, 5, and 6, they're also quite similar: critical rate, physical damage, and also HP. For more complete details, it's better if you just look at the screen since I already explained everything there in full. There shouldn't be any more questions, right? After talking about many things regarding Starlight Billy, now let's discuss teammates that work well with him. Well, you guys know that characters with the Rapture role have a slight weakness, where their team combinations are not as flexible as other characters that have many options. This is exactly what I felt while using Starlight Billy. Because as you know, some buffs given by certain characters like attack increases are completely useless for Rapture characters whose scaling comes from HP stats. So for now, the team options for Starlight Billy are pretty limited. That's why the premium team consisting of Starlight Billy, Dialin, and Lucia has already become Starlight Billy's best team right now, in my opinion. Now, what if you don't have Dialin? Honestly, I've already tried several other starters that can be paired with Rapture characters before, like Jufufu. But I feel like the key difference compared to Dialin is really huge, because Dialin can provide extra ultimate attacks that make the team's damage output much higher compared to using Jufufu in the team. Now, besides the premium team setup, the free-to-play team setup is honestly also very limited. So if you just started playing this game, you might struggle a little to find a suitable team. But if I had to choose as a new player, my choice would probably be Starlight Billy, Panyanhu, and also Pulchra. Because Panyanhu can provide additional sheer force, while Pulchra acts as a physical stunner to make enemies enter the stunned state faster. Overall, this team setup is pretty decent, although for some people it might feel slightly lacking in terms of seamlessness. Oh yeah, the character named Norma, who will release in version 3.0, will also be really good with Starlight Billy in my opinion, because Norma can provide extra chain attacks for the team, which I think will be very useful for Billy. Since Billy's chain attack not only deals pretty decent damage, but also provides additional determination points, making his signature basic attack trigger faster. On top of that, Norma can be considered a stunner that can deal off-field damage, increasing your Starlight Billy team's damage output even more. So if you don't have Dialin, I definitely recommend pulling this character. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering which one is actually more worth it for players who want to maximize Starlight Billy. Is his W1 more worth it, or is it better to just go for M1 instead? Honestly, if we compare the two, both of them provide damage increases. M1 gives physical resistance ignore, while W1 provides critical rate and physical shear damage. But when I tested both of them back during the beta version, they actually produced fairly similar damage output. So if you only look at them at a glance, you probably won't even notice the difference. However, based on the data I got from Pride.GG, the increase from W1 is actually much higher if you're currently using free W engines such as Will-O-Wisp or Fossil Sphere, where the difference is around 20 to 25%. Meanwhile, if you're using Xwen's W engine, the difference is around 14%. This makes W1 provide significantly better benefits compared to M1, which only provides around 18%. So in short, getting W1 first is a much better choice. Overall, Starlight Billy is a very interesting character. His high damage, cool animations, easy and affordable build, as well as team options that are still available for free-to-play players, all become major selling points for this character. On top of that, if we are talking about version 3.0, Starlight Billy is also really good when paired with Norma, who will become a stunner for Raptor teams. So, if you currently don't have a stunner for your Raptor team, such as Dylene for example, maybe you can start by pulling Starlight Billy in this version first. I personally recommend pulling this character if you're planning to build a physical Raptor team, especially if you already own some of Starlight Billy's key agents, such as Dylene and Lucia. Norma, who will be released in version 3.0, is also a pretty good replacement for Dylene, if you don't currently have her. So you could say that Starlight Billy's future still looks pretty good and should remain relevant throughout future version 3 updates. I'm sure some of you are also asking, what if I already have Xwen? Aren't they both Raptor characters? Yep, even though both of them are Raptor characters, endgame buffs are often extremely specific. For example, buffs designed specifically for physical Raptor characters. This allows character with the correct kit, role, and attribute to gain maximum benefits from those buffs. So in my opinion, it's still completely fine to pull Starlight Billy even if you already have Xwen. This gives you more variety when building Raptor teams, and most importantly, it allows you to run two separate Raptor teams in endgame content. Okay guys, maybe that's all for now. What do you think about Starlight Billy? Leave any comments down below and don't forget to check out my other videos because they are no less cool. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.